This looks like you thinking about what fishing rod should I use for steelhead fishing. Chewing, 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 chewing your thoughts. Guess what? It's real easy. Just watch this video. Hey guys, Jake here with Clackacraft. Hey, just doing a fun kind of quick video for you guys today. On, I guess, my top four rods I would take steelhead fishing. I just asked the dog and he told me what to take. And as you can see up here, there's some of my rods. I call them my shop rods, but they're my rods. There's a smorgasbord of different things. You know, you might think I buy one particular brand or Jake gets hooked up with this guy or this guy. I don't. I tend to just have fun and fish a little bit of everything and enjoy it. I bought different things, mix it up. I don't buy expensive reels all the time. I have a couple nice reels I enjoy buying, but again, it's not going to make you catch more fish. You just kind of got to have fun and pick out some stuff that you like. And I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you guys a couple of my steelhead setups, something fun to do. It's November, I don't know, 23rd or 4th or something like that. Got Carver here, the old Clackacraft mascot. You guys know Carver's story, but I found him out in the Carver Curves. I live out that way. One morning when he was about 8 weeks old, but now he's stuck with us. So he's a great little boy. So he's kind of been helping me out here a little bit. He's kind of a pain in the butt. But anyways, I just thought I'd do something fun with as far as the video goes. I got, everybody's like, what kind of rods should I take steelhead fishing? Keep it simple. Simple, simple, simple. I may not have all the answers, but I'm just telling you what I know kind of works for me. So I just want to show you like 4 different rods you can take with you. Keep it simple. My simple little steelhead bag. I learned from some really cool guys that have taught me a lot as far as steelhead fishing goes. I don't know everything. You can argue what I've done. But anyways, I just thought something fun for video sakes. We're all sitting around the couch this time of year waiting for Winter Steelhead to show up. So what the heck, you know? I'm going to show you some stuff here. I got right here, there goes, sorry, we're here on the highway. So we got some guys, you know, Saturday here with their Harleys out having fun. And all that good stuff. So right here I have my... If you watch some of the Angler West and other stuff we've done over years, the old bobber and jig setup here. Pretty simple little setup. I think this is a 9.6 Angler West rod when he was having some stuff built custom for him. Pretty cool little rod setup. Nothing fancy as far as reel goes. I think that's an old pin reel, like a 2500, maybe a 1500 even. I can't tell on this one. But anyways, right here, all we have is a fixed fill float, which I don't even know if they make them anymore. I've had a hard time finding them. Just a balsa wood wire float with a nightmare pattern jig on the bottom of this, 1/8 ounce. So essentially 1/8 ounce float and an 1/8 ounce jig right here. Kind of something fun. You know, we catch a lot of fish on this. Simple, simple, simple. I know a lot of people will put lead in line with a bigger float, and that's great. The reason we fish these fixed floats because they're not just called a float, they're called an indicator. There's a reason, everybody's like, what do they call them indicator for? Well, there's a reason they're indicator. And the reason being is this wire right here. You actually see this wire, what it's doing, it's telling you something's going on down here at the bottom. So when you're fishing this thing too deep, guess what's happening? Tick, 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 tick. You're dragging. Or if you got a belly in the line, which means your line's getting pulled by the current, so it's out in front of the float, it's going to do this. So this is the reason they call it indicators. So you're fishing too deep. So if you really get proficient, yeah, you can't cast as far. A lot of guides will fish more inline lead, bigger floats, easier for the customers to cast. And that's great because they know the bottom depth. They're going to say, hey, pull it 3.5 feet, leave it, dip it in the water, you're going to catch a fish. Where I'm trying to find different levels of water, pocket water. I may not know what's found at rock, so I'm going to use this indicator, which is going to tell me what's going on. I mean, it's literally going to go tick, tick, tick if it's hitting bottom. So I'm going to shorten this up a little bit, slide it down. And a fixed float, what it has is they've got bands on here, a little rubber on the bottom. There's a little difference with each one. There's dink floats, different things you can do, but this is just the style I'm showing you today. Little fill float, great mechanism. Another thing to keep in mind when you're fishing these jigs is, you know, once in a while they'll get like that, and everybody's like, well, I don't know what to do with that thing. Well, I'm constantly readjusting this thing to make it perpendicular, jig head to the hook this way. So therefore, because the steelhead this will actually float by a steelhead, and they come around the backside and grab it. People think they just kind of get it when it's coming at them. They don't. They actually turn on it and grab it. That's why you always get a steelhead right here with a jig in the mouth typically. Never seen one in a belly, ever. I mean, much as I fish, just haven't seen it. I'm sure it's happened. Somebody could say, Jake, you know what you're talking about, but guess what? They're always, seems like, in the lip. And to be honest with you, they're always in the upper beak right here because they turn and bit on it because I've always adjusted this way. So, bite on that thing. So that's kind of a fun little setup here I'm showing you as far as a jig setup goes. That's that rod here. And again, 4 rods for your boat, even though I always take 2 of each. So 2 jig rods, and I'm going to go to the next one. The old spin rod. So here we go. I don't fish a lot of spinners. I fish, you know, very rarely do I fish spinners, but I keep them in the boat. So first thing you want to do with a spin rod is not fish it first, right? You want to fish your bait, your jigs, your, you know, stuff like that, you know, your floats and different things like that. This is something you're going to go to at the, I guess, the end of the game, meaning like I'm going to sit in a hole, I'm going to do my floats through, I'm going to do my bait through, whatever I'm doing as far as that goes. And then I'm going to go to a spinner, stat spinner, you know, through that hole. And then, you know, I guess you could say a plug might be the very end of the game, but typically that means you're moving. So you're going to put some plug rods out, move down river, do some stuff. But so I always carry, like, this is a little, I think like a BC spoon, or this might be a little Clio, excuse me, a little Clio here. They all work. They'll grab these things. If they're grabby, they're going to grab them. They're awesome. So again, 4 rods to bring your boat. I'm bringing 2 of each just because if it breaks off, I got an extra rod, or I got a friend with me. I have it just as we got here. We got the old, they call this the, I guess they call it the Michael Jackson. I don't know if that's even fun to say anymore, but that's the Michael Jackson with a little bit of chartreuse stuff. This is a great spinner. You can catch everything from coho in Alaska to fish down in California. It doesn't matter where you're at. Trout, whatever, the old spinner. It's a good little setup there. These are just some inexpensive spin rods, Lama Glass, back in the day rods here I have. Nothing fancy as far as Daiwa reels go. This is it right here. This is the other setup here. This is your one of your bait rod setups. You know, it's just to basically, you can use this from everything from salmon to steelhead. Really, really simple setup. I got a 1/0 hook here. I'm not sure what brand it is. Maybe, you know, arm's length of a yard of, I think this is probably, I fish pretty light, so 12-pound Maxim type leader here with just a snap swivel and a fish field 1/2 ounce float with, like, I think this is just a Dave's Tangle Free type weight here. You can use, you know, anything that would work well for you off of that snap. I'd run them downward like that. Seems to work well for me. People might do things differently, but that's kind of how I do it. So that thing's down there dragging. You're going to adjust this float off of where your weight level is. And throw your yarn, bait, whatever on that. I don't fish bait a lot. Unfortunately, me, I don't always have bait. That's my honest truth. That's why I don't fish a lot. So I'm fishing bobber and jig a lot more for steelhead. And it works well for me. So I kind of, you know, if you got something in your gut that works the best for you, go with it. Because, you know, stick with things. You might have a slow day, but just stick with them because you'll find fish. It's not because you have the wrong stuff on. It's because maybe they're just not there. So, you know, go with something. If you start changing up stuff, a lot of times you're just going to be messing around and not fishing. So, you know, if you've got something that you know it works, you fish spots that you know you've caught fish in, stick with what you're doing. It's just that day, you know. So, again, but if you have some good bait, I mean, bait setups are the way to go. And I have 2 different styles here. That was kind of the float style I showed you there. This is another one, a little more unique, I guess you could say. I kind of got a little bit bigger hook here, wide gap hook, which is a hook that's set up a little differently. You can look them up at the stores. I'm not going into the hook details, but another 1/0 type style. This is a pencil lead. I actually slid over the line, believe it or not, and it's on the braid part of the line here because I kind of know my depth here. You know, the length here depends on, you know, your float because obviously different weights are going to make different. This is a dink float, they call them, dink style float. This is a different brand that made this. Is a Bomax style, but basically, if you don't know how much weight to put on these, you can almost take a 5-gallon bucket of water, just float down and put it in there and see what your float does. You know, and everybody might be a little different. I like my float to be pretty much dead center here as far as floating in a bucket of water. These dink floats are really nice. They're really light. They're really intrusive when you're making a cast into a quiet hole. People go, well, you know, these big floats, you see a lot of people fishing big baits, big floats. big leads. That's kind of obnoxious, you know. When you cast out into a hole, it might be more detrimental to the hole as far as the splashing goes, you know. So where these kind of cast out there and everything's real in line, real quiet into the hole. So again, that's just a different. There's a million different ways you can set up bait, you know. And again, I don't fish as much as I do my jig program, and I didn't really show you all the different jig programs. But again, there's a million different ways to fish those too as well. So. Kind of showed you that stuff. Kind of went through the, you know, I got some plug rods here. If you get done casting spinners, I got a couple. These are my older Lamaglass plug rods. Great little rods. They're nothing big. I think they're like 8'6" rods. Just some little Daiwa reels on there, little line counters. You know, a couple plugs there. You know, you went through a hole, nothing's happening. Cast. You know, that might be some fish in there still. Guess what? It's time to just kick back. Put the oars on and start pulling some plugs. These are not a bad way to go. I don't do a ton of plug fishing either, but I always have these in my boat. So again, I'm going with 4 rods you should have in your boat. I have 2 of each here to show you, but those are some of them to check out. And then I'm gonna throw you guys for a really big loop here. This is kind of my old go back. A lot of people, I brought this on trips and they laugh at me like, what are you bringing that for? This is kind of an older Lamaglass Certified Pro rod I have here. I think it's, I don't know, a 12 to 25 pound rod with, guess what, an old Abu Garcia on here. The old tried and true 5500 reel. But this is kind of fun. This is called a side planer. A lot of you guys probably, some of you guys, I mean, know about them, heard about them. I'm sure everybody's kind of heard about them, but don't know about them. We fish a lot of these quietly on the Deschutes. Pretty much get you up plug fishing, because on the Deschutes River you can't fish from a boat. So guess what? The side planer is your boat. So this little guy here will actually peel its way out in the water, and there's an art to it. And you can watch other videos. I'm not going to do a video about side planers, but you get them out there, and what happens? This guy's out here, pulls it out there, gets it out, you know, middle way of the river, and they're sensitive. So once in a while they'll click on you, and you got to reset and do it again. But again, we fish, you know, these smaller plugs on these things and catch fish. Side planers, I'm telling you what, I still do it on rivers that, you know, I can fish from the boat. It's just fun fishing. You can work a hole. It's actually, there's some art to it, believe it or not. People say there's no art to that. There's an art to this. I almost think sometimes these might be harder to fish than even fly fishing, believe it or not. There's a little art to these guys, and it's something to have fun with. You know, if you're an avid fisherman and you want to mix it up, bring one of these with your buddies, you know, and try it out, because it's fun. It's something different to do. It's like anything else, you know. It's like you might like you know, a big block Corvette or Camaro, but guess what? It's kind of fun to drive a little Porsche around once in a while. So it's something different to do, you know. Try it out, have fun. Different plugs out there. This is just one kind of color we use on the Deschutes. We color them up. They work real well. Again, side planer. There's no specific rod. The biggest thing is to have a little longer rod, maybe a little more backbone in here, and just something that's got a little sensitivity here, so that way you can feel that thing going out there. If maybe it gets too stiff, it might set itself off a lot. But again, I found this rod by mistake one time. I had a side planer, did it. It works really well, so I always had it set up for this. We have a lot of fun over there on the Deschutes and different rivers. John Day I've used it on, Clackamas, different things, and they do work. I've caught fish on them. So again, it's something fun to show you guys, some different rods, reels. Again, you know, when you're steelhead fishing, you know, you can be in your buddy's boat. He has all kinds of stuff in it. Keep it simple. The simpler the bag, the better you're going to fish. This is my little bag. I've had this thing for probably 10 years. It's just a little Plano bag. A bunch of different brands build them. They make a similar bag for everything. I have, you know, one box here with some floats and beads, jigs, different things. One's got some hardware in it as far as, you know, plugs, spinners, different things. This kind of miscellaneous. Another bead one here. Oh boy, I mean, you can have all kinds of stuff, and maybe I'll do a video one day of all the different things you bring. You know, obviously some Pro Cure, water soluble for your jigs. You gotta have water soluble. You can't have the regular stuff because it will mess up the feathers and different things on there. Scent, you know, the old school lead. I got some pencil lead in here. I probably got too much stuff in here. I probably need to do a little spring cleaning on this thing eventually. But scissors, another plug box I got in the back here. But, you know, simple bag, easy. Half the time I don't even touch that bag. I got, sometimes in my pockets and my little Sims jacket, I got some floats and some jigs and some little things I might do when I take a little walk. So keep it simple, simple, simple. Got some pretty jigs. You know, I got a friend of mine, Cole Baxter. He makes these beautiful jigs. You know, it's always nice to have a little jig thing in there. So I thought I'd show you guys. It's just pretty. It's just pretty. Look at that. Not pretty? It's pretty. So, anyways, and again, I'm standing next to this beautiful Magnum Clackacraft power drifter. You know, who doesn't want one? If you don't want one, you're lying to yourself. You know, maybe ask. You know, for Christmas is coming up. Maybe ask your old lady for one of these, because guess what? They're awesome. So, again, thanks for watching these videos. If you like it, hit like and subscribe below. I appreciate you guys for watching it. And again, I'm not the best steelhead or salmon fisherman. I'm just having fun doing it. So enjoy these videos. And if you guys have any comments for me or something I missed or have some ideas for me, hit me up, jake@clackacraft.com. And I appreciate you guys for watching it. Peace out. And remember, steelhead are not hard to catch. They're hard to find. Huh, Carver?